This week we're talking about the eclipse portal, Mercury and Venus retrograde, and why it's an especially important time for you if you happen to be Gemini rising, although it's actually important for everyone. So we are now in the eclipse portal. It's a time of rapid shifts or encounters that feel fated, unexpected twists that come along. What you need to know about eclipses really is they are cosmic course correctors, okay? It's like when you incarnated, you had a life plan, believe it or not. You had a life plan. Your soul had a plan. It came here with a blueprint, and part of that is your astrology chart. Now, if you wander right off the path, okay, right off the path of your soul blueprint, eclipses can be quite tricky because they're like bush or bosh, and they push you back onto the path that you are meant to be on, that you basically signed up for. And that can happen in a beautiful way, which opens up new paths to you. And you go, wow, that thing that happened, you know, it was really difficult at the time, but it was so amazing. It turned out to be so great. That's really a real eclipse kind of thing to say. But it can happen before we feel ready. And that is when eclipses can be quite tricky. The energy is electric, unpredictable, and not fully in our control, which is the problem. Okay, so surrender is key. All right, surrender is key in eclipse time. Even though, you know, we normally talk about surrender at the full moon and the dark moon, just be in a state of surrender to the universe. One of the things that I learned in India, I hope you're not bored of me talking about my time in India yet, but it was life-changing, was, you know, to say the sort of mantra of the ashram, and it's a mantra that's used all over India, Om Namo Narayani, which means I surrender to the divine. Om Namo Narayani. I'm going to chant it for you, and this week I won't put on reverb because a lot of you told me on a Facebook Live, did you like the real theme, that you like it without the reverb? So here we go. Om Namo Narayani. I'm going to do it 2 more times. As I do it, either join me or just think of whatever it is in your life you just need to surrender to the divine and say, divine, please do whatever is for the highest good here. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. And if ever there were a time to surrender to the divine, then right now is it. So how to navigate this energy, Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, the eclipses, without losing it? Probably the number one thing is just slow down, okay? This is not the time for snap decisions, giving people ultimatums, or taking big financial risks. Let the energy settle, which is not going to happen for a few weeks yet before you do anything drastic. Yes, revisit, review, but don't overreact, okay? Old issues can surface now because we've had the full moon eclipse, bringing everything to the surface. We've got Venus and Mercury retrograde, but actually these things are showing up for healing, okay? They're showing up because on some level they need healing. All right, so trust the divine timing. And if things are delayed now, know that they are being delayed for a reason. All right, and just don't take everything at face value. Retrogrades and eclipses both can really reveal hidden truths because you go back in time and you look at things and you look at them again and you rethink them and you reevaluate them. Okay, so sit with things before you make a final call about anything. We are moving up to the new moon eclipse at the end of the week. It's going to be the end of the month, and it's a really powerful time for a reset. It's not your usual new moon, okay? Because it is an eclipse, all right? So it's not just about setting intentions. It's actually about major soul level transformations. It's a time to release and realign, okay? And it's about trusting that whatever is happening for you right now is making space for something better. Okay, that's the really hard thing with eclipses, is that they can be really difficult. And, you know, the more you cling on to what's been ripped out of your hands, the more you delay the process of something new coming in. It's just like that. And sometimes we do cling on, and that's, you know, we can't beat ourselves up for that. Let it go, okay? Karmic themes are playing out now, so pay attention to who and what is showing up in your life, or to who or what is leaving your life, okay? I will be giving you more information next week about making wishes, but I wanted to say something really important for anyone out there who happens to be Gemini rising. Actually, no, I'm going to give you the information about the wishes this week because actually the eclipse will take place before the next podcast comes out. So if you are Gemini rising, you need to listen up for a second. Excuse me, everybody else. If you don't know your rising sign while you're listening, you can just go to moonmessages.com/free chart, moonmessages.com/free chart. I'll put that in the description. But assuming you know it and you are Gemini rising, this is the super duper new moon, lucky new moon of the year for you. Now, it would be anyway, because basically if you're Gemini rising, the eclipse is in Aries, therefore it's going to be taking place in your 11th house of hopes and dreams and wishes. So it's always going to be the time for you to be making wishes at this time of the year when we get the new moon in Aries. But with a new moon eclipse in Aries, it's massive, okay? So what we've decided to do, my team and I have decided, made a big decision. We are going to, the day after the new moon, we're going to reinstate something we used to do back in the day. We used to call it Written in the Stars, and it was for rising signs. You might remember it. So this month it'll be Gemini rising with the Aries new moon. Next month it'll be Cancerian rising with the Taurus new moon, and so on. It's when you have your lucky wishing moon of the year. And what we always did, and what we'll do again, is we'll give you a tour of your chart so you know how your chart plays out. And then what we'll do is we will talk about the upcoming transits for the 12 months ahead. And then we will do some new moon wishing together. And the only other way to do that is in my members area, where I do that every month with my members, the Mainly Moonology membership. But every month I will do it for one rising sign, and this month it's going to be Gemini rising. Now, did I give you the URL for that? If not, I'll put it in the description, but it's moonmessages.com/rising. moonmessages.com/rising. And if you go there, you can opt in and sign up and come to the workshop, and it's going to be amazing. All right, so time to make some wishes, but let's be mindful, because eclipses amplify everything, okay? I'm not going to actually make some wishes here. We're going to talk about them. So what do you want to do? You want to set intentions, okay? You want to know what you want without trying to force outcomes, okay? The best time to make your wishes is going to be just after the eclipse, when the energy is starting to settle. And you want to use it to clarify your deepest desires, but also to leave a little bit of room to trust the universe to bring them into being in the right way, in the way that works best for you. You might want to write down what you've released. If you haven't already done that, you can do that at the dark moon just before the new moon. But really what you're going to want to do is write down some wishes. Trust the process. Don't be too attached to them. Sit in stillness, meditate, light a candle, anything like that that's going to get you in the vibe. And like I said, if you're Gemini rising, this new moon is basically huge for you. It's your biggest manifesting moment of 2025, and it's the time to set intentions for what you want And like I said, moonmessages.com/rising to go and sign up for that. So really to recap, okay, let's recap. This is a potentially quite wild week, okay? We are moving through the eclipse portal. It's the waning cycle. It's time to let stuff go. That's always a bit tricky, especially if you happen to be someone like me, a water sign or an air sign. A water sign or an earth sign. I think in particular we find it a bit harder to just burn everything off and let it go. So there is that, but also it's a more powerful time to do it, okay? If you can lean into the crazy energy now, you'll be getting the best of whatever's possible. You know, declutter. You know, if you've got an old relationship that you haven't released yet, try and find stuff from that you just, you know, obviously you want a little bit of sentimental mementos maybe, but get rid of most of it. You know, even if you just put it in a box and put it under in the eaves of your house, and you know you can look at it when you're 90 or something. Trust the shifts that are taking place and try and surrender, and when you've surrendered, try and surrender some more. Know that something beautiful is being set in motion, even if you can't see it yet. Expect things to be a bit crazy now, because at the end of the day, we've got Mercury retrograde, we've got Venus retrograde, and now we have the eclipse portal. All right, so all in all, completely, you know, just all bets are off. If you haven't done my Venus retrograde course, you know, we're getting to the point where we're nearly at the middle of the cycle now, I think. Not quite, but you really want to do it because it's really important to understand how to make the most of the eclipse energy. If you want to sign up for the Venus retrograde course, it's moonmessages.com/Venus. I don't just put these things on sale for the heck of it. I do them because I know they are going to help you. And I want to make my living by doing stuff that helps other people to step into their power. And I mainly work with the moon, but I have a special interest in Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde for that matter. So I created the Venus retrograde course. It will really empower you to make the most of this cycle, to reevaluate, and just remember you need to let go of all the CRAP at the moment. I know it's hard. I know the world it feels like sometimes it's going to hell in a handbasket. And, you know, it's all just gone completely mad in so many ways. We can only bring it back to ourselves. That's one of the things I really learned in India. Do that daily chanting. Actually, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me show you. I now have this beautiful Saraswati that I've been chanting to. She's getting all the energy. You know, do your daily chanting, do your dog walks or your walks at the park or your river walks or the beach walks or wherever you happen to live, the creek walks. You know, do your journaling, do your oracle cards. Actually, I'm going to finish with an oracle card for everyone who's watching this or listening to this. There we are, that's the card. What do we need to know? What do we need to know about this week? So if this card is for you, say out loud, this card is for me, or give this post, if you're watching it on Facebook, give it a like, or say in the comments, this card is for me. If you're listening on a podcast, just say out loud, this card is for me, and then I will tell you what it is, all right? So yeah, it's really time to just release and let go. That's so much what we need to do is the overall thing. All right, so here comes the card in 3, 2, 1. It's actually the North Node card, which is interesting because the eclipses always involve the North Node and the South Node. So it's the step out of your comfort zone card. And basically what this card says, I do actually have the book here somewhere. Let's have a look. What this card says is, you know, there's nothing to be gained by staying where you're just too comfortable. Here we are. There's a strong feeling, these are my beautiful Moonology Oracle cards. There's a strong feeling when you get this card that it's time to leave the past behind. How much more perfect could it be? Okay, because you are actually headed in the right direction. If you want to be happy and fulfilled, and don't we all, you need to get going towards doing the thing that scares you within reason. This card is about living your life purpose, which is possibly what you've asked about. It's urging you to dare to do something different with your life and your direction, and it's urging you to take action, okay? Now, you are watching this for a reason, all right? How many more times does the universe have to tell you? Dare to do something different with your life. Take action. Are you willing to follow through and lead the life you incarnated to live? Well, if that's not a searing question, I don't know what is. If you finally find the courage to make the leap, there's a good chance you'll come to ask yourself, why did I wait so long? Tune to the moon. So your mantra for the week is, I know I'm headed in the right direction. And additional meanings, you're headed for something that feels like destiny. There's a reason why you're watching this or listening to this. You need to face a fear and get over it. Time to stop obsessing about someone or something. Stand on your own 2 feet. You've got this. There we are, my beautiful Moonology Oracle cards. Possibly the best-selling Oracle cards in the history of Oracle cards. They definitely were at one point. I don't know if they still are or not, but they definitely were. All right, gorgeous people. So that concludes the Mainly Moonology podcast of this week. We come out every Sunday. If you've enjoyed it, please do me a massive favor and leave us a nice 5-star review. It makes a huge difference in terms of the algorithms kind of letting other people know about the podcast, which then, gets to more people, helps more people, and also makes it feel more like worth my while to keep doing this because, it's fun, but it's demanding. I had to go and brush my hair and put on makeup. Anyway, lots of love. Have a beautiful week.